The Locksmith. Jack was a locksmith by profession, but he was more than just a simple locksmith. He had a passion for locks and was always on the lookout for unique and unusual locks. He had a collection of locks that would make any locksmith envious, and he took great pride in his collection. One day, Jack stumbled upon a lock that would change his life forever. It all started when Jack received a call from a client who needed his help in unlocking a safe that he had inherited from his grandfather. The safe had been locked for decades, and the client had no idea what was inside. Jack arrived at the client's house and examined the safe. It was an old, rusted safe that looked like it had been around for centuries. Jack got to work, and it wasn't long before he realized that this was no ordinary lock. The lock had a series of unusual symbols that he had never seen before, and the mechanism was complex and sophisticated. He had never encountered a lock like this before, and he was determined to unlock it. For days, Jack worked tirelessly on the lock, but he couldn't crack it. He tried every method he knew, but nothing worked. He was about to give up when he noticed something peculiar. The lock seemed to be alive. It was emitting a faint glow that he had never seen before. It was almost as if the lock had a mind of its own. Jack was fascinated and terrified at the same time. He knew that he had stumbled upon something extraordinary, something that could change his life forever. He couldn't resist the temptation to unlock the lock, and he continued working on it relentlessly. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, but Jack still couldn't unlock the lock. He became obsessed with the lock, and it consumed his every waking moment. He stopped taking on new clients, stopped socializing, and stopped sleeping. The lock had taken over his life, and he couldn't let it go. One night, as Jack was working on the lock, something strange happened. The lock emitted a bright flash of light, and he felt a sudden surge of energy. He was thrown across the room and landed on the floor, dazed and confused. When he regained his senses, he realized that something had changed. He felt different, stronger, and more focused. He knew that the lock had unlocked something within him, something that he had never experienced before. Jack knew that he had to find out more about the lock and its origins. He began researching ancient locks and symbols, and he discovered that the lock he had been working on was unlike any other lock in history. It was a lock that had been created by an ancient civilization, one that had disappeared without a trace. Jack realized that he had unlocked a secret that had been hidden for centuries, and he knew that he was in grave danger. He had no idea what powers the lock possessed or who else knew about it. He had to be careful, he had to keep the lock safe, and he had to find out more. As he delved deeper into his research, Jack discovered that the lock was linked to a mysterious ancient artifact, one that was said to hold unimaginable power. He knew that he had to find the artifact before anyone else did, but he had no idea where to start. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, but Jack never gave up. He traveled the world, searching for clues and following leads. He encountered dangerous and powerful people who were after the same thing. But he was determined to be the first to find the artifact. Finally, after months of searching, Jack found the artifact. It was an ancient book that contained knowledge and secrets that had been lost for centuries. The book had been guarded by a powerful organization that had been protecting the book for generations, and they weren't about to let Jack take it without a fight. Jack knew that he was in for the fight of his life. He had prepared himself for this moment, and he was ready to do whatever it takes to get his hands on the book. He knew that the book held the key to unlocking the full potential of the lock, and that it was the key to his ultimate goal. The organization sent their best agents to stop Jack, but he was too quick for them. He had been training for months, and his skills had sharpened. He fought his way through their defenses, using his lock-picking skills to outsmart them. He finally reached the book and grabbed it with all his might. The agents were closing in on him, and he knew that he had to act fast. Jack opened the book, and a burst of light illuminated the room. He felt a surge of power within him, and he knew that he had unlocked the secrets of the lock. He closed the book and slipped it into his backpack. He turned around to face the agents, and he could see the fear in their eyes. They knew that they had underestimated him, and they knew that they had lost. Jack walked out of the room, and he could feel the weight of the book in his backpack. He knew that he had achieved his goal, but he also knew that his life would never be the same again. He had unlocked a power that was beyond his comprehension, and he knew that he had to be careful with it. As he walked out of the building, he felt a sense of satisfaction and relief. He knew that he had accomplished something that no one had ever done before, and he knew that he had changed the course of history. He walked down the street, and he could hear the sound of his footsteps echoing in his mind. He knew that he had found his purpose in life, and he knew that he would never stop exploring the mysteries of the world. From that day on, Jack continued his quest for knowledge, unlocking secrets and uncovering mysteries that had been lost for centuries. He became a legend in the world of locksmiths. People would come from all over the world to seek his advice and guidance. Years went by, and Jack grew old, but his passion for locks never faded. He continued to work on locks until the very end, and he passed on his knowledge to the next generation of locksmiths. He knew that he had left a legacy behind, one that would never be forgotten. In the end, Jack realized that the lock had not changed his life, but it had given him a purpose. It had shown him that there was more to life than just opening locks, and it had given him the power to unlock the secrets of the world. Jack died a happy man, knowing that he had lived a life full of adventure and purpose. The end. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to hit the like button and share it with your friends and family. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more content like this. We'll see you in the next one.